Hi, it's Joe Mazumdar from Exploration Insights. I'm here at the PDAC Metals Investment Forum in Toronto, but we're doing this remote with the CEO of Loncor Gold, John Barker. John, how's it going?
Great, Joe, and pleasure to be at PDAC. It feels like there's a bit of a buzz, so with this gold price continuing to rise, it's hopefully exciting year ahead.
Yes, I mean we did see like a little bit of the anti-PDAC curse at the towards the end of the conference with gold spiking up to new record highs. So let's get into Loncor Gold because Loncor Gold has this Adumbi deposit, which they own the majority stake of, a very high grade open pit amenable deposit in the DRC. Could you give us a little bit of background on that deposit?
Sure, Joe. Yes, and we're up in the top right-hand corner of the DRC. Now, just on the DRC itself, I'd just like to point out investors are making money in the DRC currently. If you look at what Robert Friedland is doing down in the south, Kapushi and Kamoa-Kakula, trading close to highs, the DRC's really making investors money. Copper's going from strength to strength. DRC should be the second largest copper producer, almost tripling production over the last 6 or 7 years. There's some things going really positively there. A number of companies are looking, a number of countries are looking at the DRC, but yeah, we're concentrating the top right-hand corner. And I think for anyone that's looking in at this who doesn't know the area, to get some comfort, then our nearest mining neighbor is Kibali. Kibali is a 45% Barrick, 45% Anglo Gold, 10% DRC Government. And it's mined gold. Barrick's managing it, but it's mined gold for over 13 years in the area. Our deposit appears at this early stage, is similar grades to Kibali. It's not as big as Kibali. Kibali's got over 15 million ounces in resources. We're targeting over 5 million ounces. It's let's say similar age and looks fairly similar, but on a smaller scale. So very encouraging as it stands.
But still, I mean, right now you're sitting at what, about 3 to 4 million ounces?
That's we've got Adumbi as our major project. We actually control 4 million ounces, attributable 3.44 million ounces. And of that 4 million ounces, we've got 3.66 million ounces split almost evenly inferred and indicated at Adumbi. And
Yeah.
we did a PEA on it in the December 2021, and we're expected the pits that constitutes the 3.66 million ounces going forward is going to be mined at around 2.17 grams per ton. So high grade, likely to be mined.
Well, that must be one of the higher grade open pit deposits in the development stage globally.
Yeah, if you look at our presentation, for example, the one that I did at MIF there, you'll see some charts that I put up there of peer groups. And we've got a selection there of 12, 13, 14 companies in West and East Africa. And our grade of actually 2.5 grams in total, because we have a couple of small satellite deposits as well, is the highest grade out of the group there. So yeah, it's certainly one of the highest around currently. And we believe with us moving through 5 million ounces, hopefully in the next 12 months or so, we'll be one of the larger resources in that peer group as well.
So, I mean, you've got a big resource. It's open pit amenable. It's comparative compared to a peer group, very high grade. And also, in terms of financing risk, which is always something people look at it in this current market, you've done a recent sale of an asset such that now you're cashed up without having to go to the markets.
That's correct. Yeah, we done 5 equity raisings in 2 years, often at a discount, a unit at a discount. We see the share price getting hits, and it's really a solar space to be in. So we were trying to be creative. What can we do to drive the company forward? And we had the secondary deposit, Macapella, so 40 kilometers from our major deposit at Adumbi. And it really wasn't the focus for us. We knew there was a lot of value given the PEA results in Adumbi. The PEA currently values Adumbi at about $1 billion after tax. But our market price is not reflecting it. So what could we do? Well, potential was to sell a secondary asset there. So we looked around, we found a buyer, And the deal was consummated in December last year, and we 13.5 million Canadian or 10 million US. It's coming into our balance sheet for Macapella. So that now allows us to go ahead and drill underneath the Adumbi. As we said, the resource that we're stating currently is within pit. We've got a couple of holes at depth, which has shown very encouraging widths and grades. Again, using Kibali as a comparable, it's certainly in the ballpark of what Kibali is mining underground now. And we'd like to drill 11,000 meters underground or potentially underground and come up with a resource. And we obviously 5 million is a target for us. So that's what we're likely to be doing over the rest of this year.
So in terms of like, I mean, in terms of, resource per ounce, you're obviously, given the market cap, how much cash you have, enterprise value per a significant endowment, you're, comparatively, you're trading at a significant discount to the average of your peer group with respect to resources. Is that all the DRC, do you think?
I think there's two things. I think the DRC is one thing. We touched on kind of give some comfort for the DRC, but I think the other thing is when we started driving ahead with Adumbi, it was almost when COVID broke out, and at that point, Adumbi only had 1.36 million ounces at the beginning of 2020, and we drilled for 18 months, and we drove that up to the 3.66 million ounces. But that was during COVID. A real sort of COVID baby there. We've had no brokers on site. We have no brokers covering us still. No investment bankers. We've really gone under the radar with that significant growth.
Oh, right. Okay. So the idea is that you have to reintroduce the story now because people you slipped under the radar when you announced this significant resource.
But yeah, and I think that's proven out during PDAC. The discussions that we've had. I don't think we had one negative discussion given the metrics that we've been touching on. And at least half the people are saying, why haven't we heard of you? This looks like a very positive story. So we're going to be looking to rectify that situation with aggressive marketing now that we have the cash in the bank to go out there and market aggressively, which again could be a factor. We haven't been able to market because of lack of funds over the last 12 months or so.
So in terms of anybody who's potentially looking at Loncor Gold as an investment to a more buoyant gold price, what should we look forward to in terms of catalysts coming out of this treasury of about 10 million US?
Well, I think the first thing is for us to tell this current story effectively. And you mentioned enterprise value there. And so given that a giant neighbor in our resource growth, which is looking to grow the grade, the PEA that we touched on, and our enviable cash position, the average of that peer group that I mentioned is sitting just below $40. We're trading just below $9 an ounce. When you think that we've had exceptional exploration where we've found ounces at $6 an ounce, and everyone applauds you finding at $6 an ounce, and yet we're only valued at $9 an ounce for such high quality ounces. We think that there's an anomaly there to be closed. So I'm going to be marketing aggressively, telling what is a simple story to a client base, a lot of who haven't seen it. So that's the first catalyst, I think. And then secondly, we've got drilling, as we mentioned, at the below Adumbi. So hopefully in 3 or 4 months' time, we'll start to see results on the deeper drilling. We believe it's low-hanging fruit, but until you put the drill in there and get the results, we won't know. But we believe.
Well, how far are you drilling? I mean, deep. What's the depths you're looking at? Because this is a subvertical sort of zone of mineralization, if I remember. Moderate strip ratio. And then, are you looking for underground resources now, or are you trying to sketch the open pit down deeper?
Looking for underground resources between 550 and 800 meters. In fact, we're going to drill slightly deeper than 800 meters, but we put out an announcement in December what we believe the potential is, and it's 8.9 million tons to 9.6 million tons at 4.7 grams to 4.9 grams. But in essence, that all adds up to around 5 million ounces, of which, so between 3.6 and 5 million, 1.4, we hope those are going to be underground ounces. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's comparable to what Kibali is mining underground in terms of underground grades.
I think the last quarter was just over 5 grams a ton. They've been below and above. So yeah, it's right in line with what they've been mining. Yeah. And then I
Oh,
think that may be newsworthy, swifter than the underground is we are contemplating putting a very portable small diamond drill into an area 10 kilometers from Adumbi. It's called Imbo East, and we've done geochemical uh, geochem through that area in the past, and we've got some areas that's got around 1 kilometer long of interest. And we've done soil sampling, and there's been channel sampling in the past. And so there's a bit of size and some very interesting grades. Again, best to look at our presentation. And we may pop some holes into there with a sort of drill that you can take to pieces, put on the back of a bicycle, and cycle to the next area if you don't find anything. Very swift, only down to 200 meters, probably maximum. So it's really in a week you can get a hole put in, and then move on to the next place. So that could supply news quicker than the deeper diamond drilling. But to be honest, I think the telling of the story and how cheap it is, and the PEA, and then on top of that, of course, if there's any strategic interest, that would happen. Obviously, we can't stimulate that, but we just go out and tell the story, and more people have got eyes on us, given our size and grade.
all right. Okay, well, let's wrap it up there. Thank you very much, John. That's John Barker, CEO of Loncor Gold, advancing a almost 3.6 to 5 million ounce potential deposit called Adumbi in the DRC. Well cashed up with the sale of the Macapella deposit, so no limited financing risk, and looking to drill more at Adumbi and look at other prospects around there. Well, thank you very much, John. And that's it for me, Joe Mazumdar, Exploration Insights at the PDAC edition of MIF. Thank you very much for joining us.